Douglas politics. What? Like it have an echo in here? Things so bad. It's echoing in here. Because Rowley is the worst prime minister in history. How y'all feeling, Trinidad and Tobago? You feeling good, Tobago? That a man coming to cheat Antifa election, telling the independent so-called EBC what to do and coming? Yes, Tobagonians may be vexed. But even if you give him a 15-0 licking, you must still set the precedent and the principle that cheating is wrong. All you want to teach with children that cheaters prosper. Imagine cheaters prospering. They're taking over the EBC. They're controlling it with the niece of a former sitting minister. They're taking over the parliament and the senate and removing constitutional majority. They're taking over the boards and the spending of your money. They got procurement and Rowley and ministers procuring, buying goods and services. No procurement, no corporate governance, no independence. And now they put in a former integrity commissioner who say, never mind them email is fake, it's the contents we have to investigate. He want to investigate the contents of something that don't exist. Now he in charge of investigating a highway that finished, while Rowley have finished no highway, no building, no school, but all your money gone. They dip in the heritage and stabilization. Douglas politics, this thing is too much, it's too long. Wednesday night, 7:30 p.m., Douglas politics. And we might get a little interview with Member of Parliament for Oropouche West, Dave Tanku. Dave Tanku, come in now, boy. Get the Douglas, tell the Douglas what's going on. Under pressure all over the Southland. People saying that they cannot drive the car, tire busting, bridge collapsing, flooding. PNM is a curse on the land of Trinidad and Tobago. Douglas politics. Wednesday night. Wednesday. It's echoing. 7:30 p.m. sharp.
Politics. Listen, Douglas politics, yeah. Douglas politics. This is Douglas politics, yeah. Douglas politics. This is Douglas politics. Douglas politics. This is Douglas politics, yeah. Douglas politics.
Good evening and welcome to Douglas politics. Archie, if you could only show the people what going on down in the Southland, in a house where Rowley does be liming. If you see fiesta that going on, no mask, you know. Actually show the people at Trinidad and Tobago what going on now, the celebration. Show it. Party going on just now, because all you see, that is your country, sweet Trinidad and Tobago, a PNM prime minister with a PNM financier who do something that need investigating from a PNM board appointed by the PNM prime minister, and the PNM prime minister shut down the whole company, send home 11,000 workers, mash up the OWTU, put his personal attorney in charge of the new version of the Heritage Oil Company. They go to arbitration, evidence hard to gather because the company shut down, and this is what's going on now. Now I want you all to take a deep breath, and all you PNM voters out there, and I say this to show you all that your team is rotten from the head. You cannot be proud of this team. This cheating team, this team that is taking your vote and utilizing it for their own good. I want the people who voted for PNM for whatever reason, who put God out their thoughts to vote for Rowley, to learn that this must never happen again, that nobody must be giving your vote to do you this. I want y'all to see what you did. You dip your finger for a new society that weans yourself and your children off of your taxpayer dollars, that puts them in charge, and they stamp and trample on the Constitution to come and dig out your pocket further. They shut you down, your business down, and no employment, no jobs, no opportunity, no hope. They cut gate, they slam the gate on you, no sport funding. But they did all of that with your vote, PNM voters. And you know what? I want you to look at this. Because while you have no laptop, you have no water, you bust your tire in big pothole all over the country, you have to go and pay more tax, property tax in your tail, and if you don't fill out the form, $5,000 fine. You who getting fined for mask while them partying and retreating. I want you to look at this. Because it's not the football game. It's not Manchester United versus Chelsea. It's not Manchester City versus Arsenal. This thing impacts your life. So your vote did this. Put money in this man's pocket and his friend's pocket, and your friends, your power brokers did this to you. Run it, Archie.
What is that? This is for Deputy Crowley and the youthful and impeccable structure. We call it. I'm celebrating the PNM celebration now. So I just give my love it. Just give my love, dear boy. These friends are here, well. You might have been my wife. And Rowley, you twin. I'm talking to Rowley, keep you Rowley. Yeah. I love what you like. Home, love, boy. And today I come out to celebrate the claiming of the PNM candidates and of PNM people. What do you come by like this? Study by what? What's key? What's nothing? Oh, it's been the other survive. But now, who do you want to win? Celebrating. Ready to PNM. Ready to PNM.
That was August 10th. You voted. You voted against Indian because they tell you Kamala want to give you a banana. You voted against Indian because Rowley's a black man, a proud black Oreo, double stuffed Oreo. You voted. But he knew back then the excitement. Now he could love Rowley like hog love mud. He have 118 million extra reasons now to love Rowley like hog love mud. He have 10 more years of contract from digging out your oil and your resources and selling it to Rowley, personal attorney at Heritage, to be happy to love Stuarty Boy and want to make Stuarty Boy his wife. I understand why he is excited. He was excited with all the PNM. And you, the people, voted black man versus Indian, black versus brown, as if there's any difference. Not Trinbagonian for Trinbagonian. And you voted for that, for this evil, wicked PNM heartless government. PNM wicked. They take your laptop, they take your sport, they take your culture, they take your gate, they take your funding, they take your pension, they leave your roads and bridges mashing down. But they give I thought all they don't like Indian. Look, all you show me the PNM Indian man. Come Indian, wine man, because race important. You black man, you didn't want to vote. They tell you don't vote for Kamala because Kamala give black people laptop. Kamala give black people sport funding. Kamala give black people jobs. Kamala improve foreign direct investment for all people. Kamala build 106 schools for all people. Kamala bring hospitals for all people. Had the road smooth for all people. Kamala had the ferry going between Trinidad and Tobago smooth. All people. Visitors coming to Tobago, tourism, all people. Sports tourism, all people. Science and tertiary, all people. But all you say, vote for black man. Well, black man, let me see the Indian you vote for. Show me the Indian again, Archie. Show me the Indian.
This is for Deputy Crowley and the youthful and impeccable structure. We call it. I'm celebrating the PNM celebration now. So I just give my love it. Just give my love, dear boy. These friends are here, well. You might have been my wife. And Rowley, you twin. I'm talking to Rowley, keep you Rowley. Yeah. I love what you like. Home, love, boy. And today I come out to celebrate the claiming of the PNM candidates and of PNM people. What do you come by like this? Study by what? What's key? What's nothing? Oh, it's been the other survive. But now, who do you want to win? Celebrating. Ready
Yes. Race, boy. Well, black people, congratulations. All you put your vote against good water supply. You vote against fuel subsidy so you could drive your car. You vote against foreign use car. You vote against no taxes. You vote against no VAT on food. You vote against all of that. Yes, Archie, you know, show my young black people. Oh Lord, put up the music, man.
New dance for the PN. All the youths and all the children. New dance for the PN. Right foot, policy. Left foot, policy. Yeah. Everybody just do the policy. Everybody just do the policy. Right foot, policy. Left foot, policy.
Hold on, roll. Do the property tax dance. Show me. No, that them set a dance, that's the free dance. That's the new style. Black man, dance for free. Gets nothing. No work, no security, no safety, no jobs, no sport funding, no culture, no education, no laptop, bad road, no car, can't drive, traffic, duck from bullet. Black man dance for free. But show me a man who danced for hundreds of millions. Show me the Indian again, boy. And she show me what my black people vote for. Come on, this man could dance. Dance, boy.
Come up to my Bamsi boy and come up to my Bamsi boy and
Guys, that's what I have to say. Let me tell you all something. When you're thinking and studying politics all over the globe, economic structures, governance, political science, you would see framers of different types of constitutions. They always put checks and balances in their system because they know that the frailty of the human spirit and the human being, that when great temptation is put before people of power, that they could make bad decisions. So they put checks and balances throughout the system. They create independent institutions. They create police force investigative units, different commissions who could check and double check those who are in power to control large sums of money. The framers of constitutions, especially the framers of the Trinidad and Tobago Constitution, as weak as it is, they never ever envisaged, and listen carefully, they never ever envisaged that a human being of weak character, whose only objective of being involved in the political fray was to thief. They never believed that a human being of such low ilk could ever ascend to such a place of power, choice, control. They never thought that. When they were writing constitution, they thought, well, all right, man, we'll go in there, try to help people and so on, and they may go off key and they may go wrong, or they may be presented with opportunities to do wrong things. So we put these checks and balances to monitor them. We put the police unit, the anti-corruption unit, the integrity commission. We put the parliament, the different checks and balances. We put the permanent secretaries, the tender committees of the boards. We put these kind of things to monitor. We put the president, we put service commissions to handle certain things. But no one in the history of constitutions ever thought that a Franco-man thief will reach the top position. Just think about that for a moment, and then you may understand what is taking place. Pandey, my brother Pandey going on JW Morning Brew. Morning Brew, CNC3. Do you all think that by putting on Vex PNM, old PNM, retired PNM, and then filling it up with Vex UNC, Old UNC, Angry UNC, Angry UNC, Peace UNC, Don't Like Kamla, Anti-Kamla, that you are going to give us the impression that your show is impartial. So you get a set of Vex UNC to go on your show. Don't you all see that that ensures, enhances the point that your show is a PNM Balize Juice show? You must enjoy your show. Nobody vexing you. You want JW to host a PNM candidate show for PNM to push PNM propaganda? Well, go ahead. But I'm also happy that you chose the brightest of the bunch. You chose a man with a PhD, a master's degree, an undergraduate degree, a man who studied lots of different areas in order to produce a well-rounded show. I'm glad you all selected such a bright boy, because your morning brew now is known as the Horny Goat Weed Show, because y'all can now advertise Cialis. Run it, Archie.
But this news anchor, his name is Jason Williams, he is actually my Trinidadian's friend's cousin. Yeah, cousin, friend, cousin. So we called him, and we actually got him to redo the Cialis ads. And honestly, I think it's a pretty big improvement.
Do you or your cousin friend have a flat tire? Well, you don't have to tell everybody. Just take this thing called Cialis. Trust me, it have all the herbs and punch to bring back your vibes. So ask your doctor about Cialis. Just make sure and don't tell Nicki Minaj, cause she go put you on blast and the whole world gonna know.
What a wonderful. Let's go and talk about the constitutional crisis now, with the president, the Police Service Commission, the National Security Council, the Cabinet, Senior Council. Let's talk about that. Let's go and sit down with JW. I see Pandey. I could understand Pandey is going on in age now, and he could have gone for some advice on Cialis and erectile dysfunction if he have a flat tire. So anybody with a flat tire could go by JW. I think Rowley could go there every morning, because the tire ain't flat, the tire bust. He riding on rims. So well done, Morning Brew. You're a serious show that we oh my goodness, I look forward to that thing, that Balize Brew. Talking about duns. Now y'all, this is not funny, you know. There was on Sunday or Saturday or Sunday, there was the International Literacy Day 2021. And the 23rd anniversary of the National Library and Information System Authority, NALIS. Okay? International Literacy Day. And you know, in our nation, who gave the message? Who was the minister of the government to give a message on literacy, intelligence, brilliance, achievement, focus, academic attainment? Simon the Nosebreaker, a dunce who we don't even know how he get in Fatima, and he couldn't even pass and get into the Form 6. He had to go somewhere else down the road. That man, the most illiterate man, sending a message on behalf of the country on World Literacy Day. Hey, all you had the video, even he admit he was a dunce, Archie. Do we have that? If we have it, run it, man. Oh Lord, Simon the Nosebreaker, I had to drink some water before I come to deal with you. You is a total non-entity, and yet you make Douglas politics. Every time you open your mouth, because we don't know how you're reaching Fatima. We know that Fatima have a 20% when you've done something and your parents have money, you could come in. We know that. We know you was never at the top of any class in Fatima. We know after O levels, you could not get into Fatima Law 6. So we know you're born dunce, you remain dunce, and you was highly dunce.
While I was at school, I was most likely have been voted least likely to be the person on this end of the camera.
Fatima, but we know your record. Remember, Fatima about 20%. Not everybody went Fatima pass, you know. Because the people who didn't pass struggle, and they're finishing the bottom half of the class. You went Fatima, you talking and criticizing other people. You couldn't even get enough O level to go into A level. How you getting Fatima? Show your post your comprehension results now. Post it there. Let me see where you really went. Or is it because how you look where you get your big dunce?
I think more importantly, Father Gregory would have asked me to give this address, but I asked him when he asked me if he was serious. And that is because while I was at school, I was most likely have been voted least likely to be the person on this end of the camera.
What all you want with this? At least he honest. At least we found the first honest PNM to admit he's a total dunce. But it just shows you what the PNM system is. Not meritocracy. Just whatever college, whoever could go up in Rowley bottom, they reach up there. That is what you all have run in the country. And then you want to wonder why nothing working and all you want to dance and shake your neck. While people like this, who wanted to represent you down in Labre, could only get 7,000, 6,000 votes, lost by 3,000 votes, with this kind of man who's giving service, intelligence, brilliance, and care. Victor Roberts went down, show and take a risk and block off a bridge. They come and the PNM and them come and move the man tape and threatening him and telling people use the bridge. And the bridge, Palo Seco Bridge, absolutely collapsed now, and now the government saying they're going to fix it. But the UNC Victor Roberts actually have a little clip of that when he was down on the bridge about 10 days, 12 days ago. If you have it, show it.
We cannot put the lives of our citizens at risk because of the negligence of the minister and the Ministry of Works and Transport. We cannot do that. And I want to show you this morning, and if you believe that I am overstepping my bounds, and if you believe that what I'm doing is not right, then feel free to say.
And he went and showed that and took risk, no resources, not a member of parliament, did not win a seat, but all you have people like the nosebreaker and PNM nonsense going to vote when a man put in his heart and soul for the people regardless. Elections have consequences. Watch who you're voting for and then understand. Look to your left, look to your right, and see if all you could whine on Rowley Boomsey because you get $118 million and get out of jail free. Freedom, free at last. I could understand that man being happy because Petrotrin shut down. Where the diaries? Where the Oki sing? Where the guards who are on work? Who is the pump man? Where the pump? Where the records of the pump? Were these all presented? What time the pump ran for? What was the output of the pump? What generation? What level they turned the pump to? Who signed off on the double check? How much went in? How come when they shut down the A&V from that cattle, the production dropped dramatically by 7,000% from 4,000 barrels a day down to 160 barrels? How come that happened? Are you going now to get back up to those levels? Who is going to check? Where the GPS on the car? Who was driving the car? Who signed out the car? When was Deoki Singh working? How many sheets did Deoki Singh sign? Deoki Singh got fired. Can he come back and argue now? All of these questions, there are no answer because Petrotrin closed. We are not shutting down Petrotrin. And if you were closing your fridge or going in your fridge, let me repeat, the government is not shutting down Petrotrin. Bam! Shut down, everybody gone. I wonder why. But it's one law for them, one law for others. 14 nabbed at a house party. 14 people were held at a house party in St. Augustine yesterday morning. The group, which included 4 women, was detained around 2 a.m. at a house on Dukian Singh Street. St. Joseph police received information of a party in progress and a team of officers went in. 14 people, a party in a private residence. I'm not understanding. Did they charge cover to go inside? How you could tell it's a party? How if it was a family of 14? I'm not understanding the law, because when it had 14 people on a vessel, 8 women and 6 men, it had further investigation. When it had 30 people in a retreat for a whole day in one room, that was okay. But how 14 people in a home, in a dwelling, in a private residence get locked up, but 30 people in a PNM retreat for hours, that norm, I don't understand. One law for them and one law for the whole rest of the land. Well, what you want me to say? 5 men and 5 women held on the beach. These clowns here closed down your beach. Hot sun, killing COVID. COVID deactivating in 12 hours. Salt water, no COVID. Sand, breeze, open air, space to social distance. But your beach closed. But them in a room for 10 hours talking a bag of nonsense to see how they could go into the parliament with a remove special majority and take away our rights. But 5 women and 5 men held on a beach in Mayaro Manzanilla Beach have been charged by officers of Mayaro Police Station with being on a beach for recreational purposes. Oh gosh, they are such criminals. Lock them up and give that man 118 million more. Lock up these people for going on the beach and give NGC board indemnity. Let them waste our next billion. Lock up these people here and let there be bliss. I'm coming to that just now. Lock up people for going on the beach. Their God given right to go on the beach. God beach. Lock up. No more teachers needed, said Minister Gadsby Dolly, the best friend of Fern Nancis, the head of the EBC, who divided up and taken instructions from the PNM and Rowley how to make seats and how much seats to make. Gadsby Dolly, best friend, Fern Nancis. Gadsby Dolly now says the Education Ministry should be monitoring areas of shortfall in its own education delivery, including especially the need for more teachers trained to educate and integrate special needs children. You cut special needs grant that Kamala was given. You cut all the support to special needs children. You cut sports for special needs children. You cut funding to Paralympic and Special Olympics. You cut horses for the mentally challenged children, where they go and interact with the horses to get some interaction and stimulation of the brain. You cut laptops. You cut funding. You ain't build a school. You all come in now. You cut teachers. And all the children failing, the education gap increase. Poor children are more at risk now than ever before in the history of Trinidad and Tobago of not having a future. And you come to talk about you are hiring no more teachers? Imagine a PNM attorney who brighter than Faris Al-Rawi, a recusal, a la mascara man, a la here where none in the Senate because the Douglas was ridiculing him. He come with his face pale like he sees sunlight in 2 months. A la mascara, a la tight pants, a la put on one shot and go in a room with 13 man. Faris a la brain a man is. Al-Rawi is the Attorney General. But Keith Scotland, big attorney, bright attorney, a man who really gained Fatima properly. Did Nabraga ask Keith Scotland how it felt to get in to Fatima properly? But he is discarded by the PNM, thrown in the trash heap like a black bencher, useless, put his black bright self in the back, while Coleman, Small Pin, and Andrew Gabriel and all of these fellows, Rohan Sinanan and Convent Girl, the gallery in the front with a la mascara, and put black Keith Scotland in the back. But look what black Keith Scotland have to go and do. Attorney steps in after mall tenants locked out because the PNM locking out poor man. Man who had investigation, had a friend to investigate him, end up getting a friend to put a friend attorney and them settle the case and give he hundreds of millions of dollars and a 10-year contract to continue doing business. But you, who black people in a mall trying to sell a little thing to put food on your table, the black man government who Kamala want to give black man banana. The black man government evicting all you. Let me read. Port of Spain South Member of Parliament without portfolio. No ministry, no attorney general. Big bright black man with nothing. That's what PNM does do. Disrespect black people. Keith Scotland is good. Don't look for no sympathy for me. Yes, my brother, you went Fatima, I respect your brain. But you have no cojones. You, Nicki Minaj, looking for you to see if you're swell. You understand? Port of Spain South Member of Parliament and Attorney Keith Scotland said he will have a virtual meeting with the Curate Priority Mall tenants this week. The tenants can enter the mall, but they cannot access the kiosk to work after the premises were bolted Friday morning. Right? They lock out poor people. But man dancing and whining on Rowley. Rowley and Stuart in the mud. He loved them so much he want to marry them. Set a sick disgusting individuals. If all you find that kind of vex, well, if all you are vex, me ain't know what to tell all you, especially my black PNM people. All you ain't shame for true. It's okay. You ain't shame, Keith Scotland, with your big black bright self, to be discarded and used like a piece of garbage by a dunce who stay in school. You so much brighter than Faris Alamascara. And you have to sit there and watch him be Attorney General of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago while your black self is put in the back. We overcame that, boy. We overcame that, Keith Scotland. Our forefathers fought for us to be bright and be strong and to be free and to be able to watch them pinks and say, fire, burn you, Keith Scotland. You have no shame. My mother, I'm glad she dead because she loved you like a son. And if she saw you now, Keith Scotland, you would have killed she. If she didn't dead, she'd have dead twice now watching you. With this dance Paris and a tight pants and a go down in the constituency office and change pampers while you white beat up the girl. That, what a rent out your own building with no shame. You sit down there and accept that while our country goes to tatters, Keith Scotland. Let me leave you, yes, boy. I saw shame. I don't know what to say. I'm shaking with shame for you, black man. Wasa chairman. Hey, where the minister, man? Talking about that. Our next black one. Yes, hey, minister, man, what's going on? The right man driving the van now? You happy with that, man? Or you still sad? Wasa chairman calls on opposition to bring evidence as UNC claims 135 managers to be fired. Hey, you want us to bring evidence? We don't have to bring no evidence. As everything coming on the UNC say, happen. Petrotrin shut down. 11,000 workers gone home. Port gone. Privatization. OWTU shattered. No patriotic energy. No refinery. Nikwan, PNM, government, not a cent. NGC, thieving, indemnity. Are they going to give it? Kamla and Munilal said police, I come in police service just now. So we will wait for the 135 managers and the 3,000 black workers to be fired from Wassa. We will wait. Minister denies Wassa sending home one. Minister, man, you deny also that Wassa is sending home 135 managers. How many are sending home? 131? And are they driving in the right seat? How many of them are men? How many of them you okay with? How many of them that you so close to that you could see them in a moving van under heavy tint at 70 kilometers per hour while you're in a function? How you get so close to man and take off their makeup? What going on with all the PNM, man? Look, movie now, man. In this country, suspect just fly out with a blade and kill a 1-year-old baby in Trinidad and Tobago. A 1-year-old baby chopped to death. Grandmother get chopped, people bawling, children dying. A man just lost his head, lost his mind. Y'all may not understand, as sick as this is. Every day, we spoke about it last week, the PNM not funding Lifeline. People have lost their jobs, they're not working, they're on lockdown, shutdown and broke down, state of emergency, uncertainty. Today, you see me in a jersey, I put on this jersey to take off the shirt, to come down a little bit, to talk to my people because my people feeling it. A Muslim man on Friday took his 3 beloved children and dropped them off in the mosque and left. Because he could not feed them, he could not care for them. And he knew the people in the mosque would take care of his children. Violence, domestic violence, crime, depression, suicide in this country. While one racist man whining on Rowley, and you all think that's funny, while the rest of the country suffers, and you're thinking about stealing another election in Tobago to do what?
The only people who should dare vote for PNM is people who need that kind of assistance, who need a case to go away, who need an arbitration not to be appealed, who need to just waste 200, 400, 500, 700 million dollars, who need a work to be instructed on how to do their work, to not be independent, who have no integrity, who want to just do what a bald-head man, and look at the man who's leading y'all and y'all are taking instructions from, a scumbucket who was a teacher. He was a teacher in a power position back in 1969. And in order to get pum-pum, he went and groomed a girl of school age and got her pregnant. And that is the man all you're taking instructions from. Big, intelligent adults in Trinidad and Tobago with doctorates, PhDs, and so on. Y'all are just trampling on the Constitution for that clown. Mom and daughter terrorized before being killed, shot to death. All of this in a state of emergency. And all Rowley and the PNM could tell you is, stay locked down. All you go have freedom party. We will spend your money, call me, but say everything is good. We have 8.7 months cover. We have 5.6 billion in the Heritage and Stabilization Fund, and everything is great, says Coleman. But as debt to GDP ratio hits 92%, the Heritage and Stabilization Fund should have been somewhere up at 12 billion. The reserves before were 12.25 billion when Kamala left it, which was 14 months import cover. We down to he boasting 8 months. And now they come with the biggest boast. 500 million Marriott Hotel for Tobago. I say, what? Nice, man. Marriott, foreign direct investment. Good. That's good. Tobago could utilize that. I mean, we have no tourism right now. Tourism crashed since 2017 from 97,000 tourists flying into Tobago down to 17,000 well before COVID-19. But then I see, wait, it's not Marriott. It's Superior Hotels Limited. That is a local company. That PNM financiers. That that PNM financiers. The only building going up in town, 2 buildings, is Balize House and Imbot House. And now they're coming to boast about foreign direct investment. That is really local PNM money. That is PNM direct investment. PDI coming in. But I have some questions for y'all with this PDI. They're going to build at Rocky Point. Okay. Well, I have to ask y'all this. When was the advertisement that the land, E-Tech, when was the advertisement that you had land available at Rocky Point? When was the request for proposals? Did it go out locally, local newspapers, local websites? Was it done internationally? Were all foreign groups allowed to come in? When E-Tech was this land, this leased land for 99 years, when was it made available for competitive tender? How did Superior Hotels Limited win it? I don't recall seeing it. Maybe I didn't see it. Just give us a little paid advertisement, E-Tech, showing us the procurement process. Who was it? You said you had a committee of 5 people. 5 PNM. So Ahmad, the chairman of E-Tech, who is a PNM financier, said after an extensive evaluation of 5 months, a 5-man committee, meaning 5 PNM, completed and submitted its report and recommended to the PNM cabinet, which then approved the PNM project by the PNM cabinet. Right? They're saying that this group does many hotels locally and abroad. Please. I know Carlton Savannah, you're doing some work there to rebuild it. Crown Plaza, you change up there, this company, this local PNM company that getting a lot of money to invest. I'm happy for y'all. But don't tell me that it's foreign direct investment. Because under Kamla Prasad Bisesa, foreign direct investment over 5 years was over $5 billion US. Rowley in 1 year last year, 2019-2020, we are the lowest in the CARICOM, lowest in the Caribbean, lowest in the Western Hemisphere for foreign direct investment. We lower than Haiti, and Haiti have earthquake, tsunami, virus, storm, hurricane, all kind of thing, and bad governance. Show Kamla Prasad Bisesa foreign direct investment. 2010 to 2015, $5 billion US coming into this country to create jobs under Kamala Prasad Bissessa. Show me 2019, 2020, Rowley foreign direct investment with Paula standing order, Gopi Schoon. Paula, give me a chance, you know, you're the non-entity. I don't want to bring you into this bacchanal here. But if you're coming to interrupt me, you're playing in the wrong business. All right, Paula, Gopi Schoon, miss no trade and no industry. Look at you. You and Rowley. Minus 439 million. That means investors that are here taking the money from here and running so. They go in Guyana, they go in Barbados, they go in they go in Mexico, they go in anywhere else but here. They're running from the PNM. PNM. Everybody just run from the PNM. PNM, PNM. Foreigners take your money from the PNM. You understand? But the PNM invested in Tobago and Ansel Dennis Gallerini self. So it is not foreign direct investment. It is PNM direct investment or PNM direct investment by the PNM financiers. 2018 to 2021, PNM fellas have $1.8 billion to invest in Trinidad and Tobago. Well, it's great and lucky to be a PNM financier. You can get 118 million. You can get an arbitration and no evidence presented and no appeal. You can get your personal attorney of the Prime Minister to be the chairman to not appeal and then go against legal advice and hand you money and say, ooh, we made a good deal. We saved the taxpayers some money. You can do that if you're a PNM. Now, those PNM, I tell them to dance. Dance, man. Dance and wine. In fact, wine on Rowley. Actually, show we again. This is what's taking place now. It's taking place. He whining on Rowley. Oh God, Archie, show me.
Come up to my Bamsi boy and come up to my Bamsi boy and
yes, man. No carnival for you. No soca for you, no investment for you, no jobs for you, no money for you, no pan for you, no culture for you, no arts for you, no tenants in Curep in the mall for you, no retail for you, no jobs, nothing for you. But for them, very nice. So I just want to know about the tender process for the Rocky in Tobago, Nadilana, right? The 28 acres for 99 years. How Rahal and them get that, you know, because Rahal and them have a way, meal serve, you know, Renaissance, them just be real lucky under the PNM, you understand? Like they just play away under the PNM, and they find a donkey, and they jackass the scene, right? Now I happy for them, good for them, me and vex. But when my people suffering, when a Muslim man had to take his children and drop them in the mosque, because he can't feed them, then others get flipping vex. When every bit of infrastructure, people complaining all in Princestown, Separia, across the southwest, Penal, Barrackport, Debe, pothole, they cannot drive, tires busting, bridge falling down, flooding, mashing up everything. But man has 700 million to waste in NGC, and Rowley say, that pink man, oh God, he bright. Yes, he lost 700 million. Yes, the company make losses for the first time in history, but oh gosh, his color nice. Oh Lord, he's good. Tracy, Delta variant can be devastating. Are you serious, Tracy Davidson Celestine? Delta variant could never be more devastating than a sickening, dishonest, disrespectful PNM that will treat Tobagonians like that. And you are a Tobagonian accepting that nonsense from Trinidad and Trinidad PNM, that disrespect, that... Let me do cuss now. I'm going to take a short break. I had to drink some water. I have to calm down, because I'm going to deal with a very serious issue. The constitutional crisis that is taking place in Trinidad and Tobago right now, as we speak. So it's a short break. Don't go nowhere. 30 seconds. We will be back. I'm coming back.
Blessings. Welcome to the Facts and Finish. Join me this Thursday, the 23rd at 7:30 p.m. sharp, yes, for another Facebook Live. Independent, What independent? Who independent? Why independent? The time has come that we do, we die, or we run away. Your choice. I'm out.
And welcome back. Talking about Tobago, I see Watson Duke has asked for independent observers for the THA elections. He has asked early, and we'd like to see what skullduggery, what dishonesty, what lie Keith Rowley will come and say again. Because already the EBC that is supposed to be independent, the independent EDBC has taken instructions from Keith Rowley to turn Tobago from 12 seats to 15 seats. And they didn't scrap the whole thing and start over. They just carve out these 3 seats from in the red, giving PNM a total advantage and unfair playing field. Yes, PDP may still win and beat them because people are sick and tired of Rowley and his disrespect, especially in Tobago, when Tobago was pristine without COVID and he invited Trinidadians across to infect the whole of Tobago, has suffered Tobago's economy and treated Tobagonians with disrespect. Yes, it is possible that that whole island will turn green anyway, but that's not the point. Cheaters must not prosper. A bad precedent must not be allowed to set and stay. It is disgusting that an EBC that is supposed to be independent and follow a certain equation and a process, the process has been politically warped. So we're waiting to see Commonwealth observers. Let we hear Rowley say, the Commonwealth observers had no money. CARICOM, well, they had no boat, they had no diesel, the helicopter crashed. Let we hear what lie he go say. Now moving right along. I see in page 4 of The Guardian, President, Her Excellency concerned over spat between Griffith and the PSC, the Police Service Commission. Of course, the President, this is the President's communication, people. Of course, the President is concerned. How could the President fail to be concerned about these matters? Her Excellency hopes that any disharmony is resolved. I'll continue lower down in the article. But the Office of the President also sought to underscore that the President has no authority to direct or interfere with the Commission's work. Now that's a key point. The President who appoints the Commission, the President's office is reminding the entire population that they want to underscore that the President has no authority to direct or interfere with the Commission's work. Well, if the President has no authority to interfere, I ask you all, and then I'm going to provide evidence. I'm going to ask you, if the President cannot interfere because the Police Service Commission is independent, then how can a public figure, a politician, interfere on behalf of the Cabinet, which is the executive arm, and the National Security Council of the PNM? If the President cannot interfere, how can politicians interfere? Hold that and wait and listen to this very carefully, because Kamla Prasad Bisesa brought attention to this. She called on the members of the Police Service Commission to all resign. One, Mr. McNish, has done so, and others are soon to follow. But listen to what Kamla Prasad Bisesa had to say, and it's very interesting. At the first point, we're going to talk about this Bishop's Tea Party. I heard the Honorable Leader of the Opposition talking about a Bishop's Tea Party, and I really didn't know what she was talking about. Run it, Archie, let's hear it.
The PNM, that is their playlist. That is their playbook. They must control everything. They must have total control to have people to do their bidding. So is it then that the PNM, working through these supposedly independent institutions as a police service commission, as the office of the president, behind the scenes in a Bishop's Tea Party? I know Miss Camille Robinson-Regis went to Bishop's High School. So is there a Bishop's Tea Party? We're all behind the scenes, they're playing these out to get Gary out. Gary thinks that is the case. I don't have evidence of that, but I think there is something very wrong. In Trinity we say there is more in the mortar than the pestle. Something is very, very wrong. We have a constitutional crisis. This must be dealt with now. The merit is sent to the president, should be sent to the parliament for approval for the acting commissioner of police, and end this pappy show, end the nonsense that is going on with such an important post, that of commissioner of police.
Now, I didn't understand what the honorable leader was talking about, a Bishop's Tea Party, and if Camille Robinson-Regis went Bishops, you know. But it gets very interesting. I went and I researched and I tried to figure out what the leader of the opposition was talking about. Because you see, when you have a democracy and you create checks and balances, good corporate governance, good political structure means you try to get not only vast representation across an entire country, but you try to get disparate units that are not connected in order to have checks and balances, different eyes and ears on decisions, keep the independence and observe and uphold the separation of powers. So when I heard this Bishop's Tea Party, I had to go and start to research and read. So Camille Robinson-Regis is from Bishops. Sharon Rowley, wife of Prime Minister Keith Rowley, is from Bishops. And she told Newsday a few years ago, and I quote, "As a past student, and you know we Bishops people always stick together." That was on the appointment of the President, Paula May Weeks, of the President of the Republic, who also went to Bishops. Then I noticed that there is a lady called Bliss Sipasad, who Mr. K. Wall Singh has a lot to say about in a detailed email and letter presented, that Bliss Sipasad also went to Bishop's Anstey. And here you see Keith Rowley at the Bishop Anstey 100th anniversary art show. You know, anything to do with art. All your suffering, man can't take care of their children. Road mash up, thing mash up, no jobs, country on lockdown. But he always have time to go and look at art. This double stuffed Oreo that all you put as Prime Minister. But it's a call to art, and it's a trilogy of Bishop's Anstey. And then I realized that Sonel Rowley is a scholar, brilliant young lady. Rowley's daughter went to Bishop's. And I said, but wait, they have an independent senator that sit behind me. I don't know if she's Bliss Sipasad's sister, but she's an independent senator. And did she go to Bishop's also? Now this thing that the leader of the opposition was talking to me about, talking to us on Monday Night Forum, I now start to understand. Because people, governance is not about friendship. Rowley and his corporate governance structure is put only his friends and family tightly in a circle. Good procurement, remove eyes, ears, and brains from the process, and control your money in a tight circle. So you have his good friend of 50 years, Noel Garcia, that when I come out of Massey South, I see he outside Massey South with one big bag, and I swear I see Rowley name on it. He is spending and has been spending and building airport, hospital, health center, sports center, police station, fire station, community center, and every single house in Trinidad and Tobago now. On top of that, Red House, President's House, and Rowley's Prime Minister's residence. All of that one man. Then Heritage Petroleum Raleigh puts his personal attorney, A.A. Kwamena. And then in Paria, he puts his good friend, Newman George. And interlocking directorships across the board. People on 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 boards. But now, in the other arm of the government, where there's supposed to be separation, where there's supposed to be independence, we are seeing a bishop's tea party. And this is also connected to Rowley, because he has a close affinity and love to his wife and his daughter, who are bishops. And bishops stick together. Sticking together is not good corporate governance. Open, wide, many checks and balances to make sure things go right. Non-interference, meaning no interlocking directorship, no friendship, no affinity. Therefore, no conflict of interest. So sticking together in government is not good. It's frowned upon, especially when there's supposed to be independence. So now, these bishops' girls who stick together, the president is one, and she appointed her bishop's girl, Bliss Sipasad, as the chairperson of the Police Service Commission. Now, why is that important? First of all, you see that there could be a problem. Rudal Munilal, since 2018, alerted this country to this possible problem. Because he said when the Paula May Weeks was putting forward Bliss Sipasad to be the chairman of the Independent Police Service Commission, Rudal Munilal, member for Arapuch East, in the parliament said, hold up, that Bliss Sipasad was a PNM chairman of a PNM CDA board. You see, when I tell you that you have to keep politics and independence separate, Munilal in response pointed out that Sipasad was a member of the CDA board appointed in December 2015, 2 or 3 months after Leave Up That Door Rush. Right, but thanks. Look at there. Bliss Sipasad, Police Service Commission. Go back to the other one. Nice, let me read that. Appointed in December 2015, PNM now win. September 2015, she on a PNM board one time. And then later on, after her bishop's girl is appointed president, this PNM bishop's girl is put at the head of an independent police service commission. Now you see, when the opposition talk early, had the media, had the scholars, had the political scientists, had the people who understand corporate governance, took on what Munilal said, took it seriously, and put pressure immediately to put a different chairman, this situation and this constitutional crisis would not be going on now. But y'all play games with politics. When UNC MPs talk, y'all ignore it. Y'all push Rowley. So we have the biggest goat in the history of Trinidad and Tobago as a prime minister. But you didn't listen, but look. Arapuch East MP Rudal Munilal says wealth manager Bliss Sipasad, the newest member of the Police Service Commission, should consider leaving her government-appointed position on the board of the Shagaramas Development Authority to prevent what? A conflict. So now we're moving on, right? I want to go to Mr. Kewal Singh, because I may be running out of time, but let me take my time here. PSC member Roger Kewal Singh wrote a very detailed email, and it was printed in the Express newspaper, and he listed out his problems with the process that is taking place now. Read the appointment, the acting appointment, and the so-called investigation into any FUL issue, any commissioner of police or deputy commissioner of police, the process and possible conflicts. Now, in this letter, Mr. Kewal Singh, and I must say, I criticized here a bit a few weeks ago, but in this issue, I am seeing that I have to watch you a little carefully, because you look like you're standing on the side of righteousness, of the correct process on this issue, Mr. Kewal Singh. And I don't want to read the whole email. But Kewal Singh, a member of the Police Service Commission, said that his Service Commission and all the efforts, the officers went through a rigorous process. In a short space of time, they worked hard and they produced a merit list. This merit list was to be sent and delivered to the office of the President on August 12, 2021. They did their job and they all signed off and agreed. And the list was given to the chairman, Bliss C. Prasad, to deliver to the President. Now that's where the story becomes extremely, I don't even know what word to use at this point. As they say, things get curiouser and curiouser. This story becomes very dangerous and worrisome at this point. Mr. Kewal Singh said that on the 12th of August 2021, at President's House, on said 12th August 2021, the chair, Mrs. Bliss C. Prasad of Bishops, was met by another public official, was met at President's House by another public official. Media, please ask Mr. Roger Kewal Singh, who was that other public official who met Bliss C. Prasad, the independent chairperson of the Police Service Commission, at President's House at that specific time, on the 12th of August 2021. How did that public official know that Bliss C. Prasad was going to deliver the merit list to the President at that time? And how was that public official allowed access to President's House to intercept and communicate with Bliss C. Prasad at that time? Because what took place after is very interesting. The chair was met by another public official who voiced certain concerns and promised to forward documents in support of concerns raised. The issues raised so alarmed the chair that the list was not delivered to Her Excellency. Listen carefully. An independent police service commission with all its members who swore on the Bible to do their duty without fear or favor, without malice or ill will, did their job and sent a list with the chairperson to the President. A public official intercepted this chairperson, told them a story. And this chairperson was so interested and so excited about this story. No facts, no evidence, no paper, no material, nothing. Just talked to her and told her. And that thwarted her. She made a unilateral decision to take the work of the Independent Police Service Commission and the work that had been approved by all members, withhold it and not fulfill her task and her duty to deliver to the President. Pause and stop and think about what I am telling you, you know. Who was this public official that has this power and weight to talk to Bliss C. Prasad, chairman of the Police Service Commission, and whose words have so much power, so much weight, so much credibility in the mind of the independent Bliss C. Prasad, that she thwarts all processes, all correct thinking, and does what was unreasonable to not hand over a merit list that was duly approved by her entire commission. One, who was this public official? Two, how did that person know that Bliss C. Prasad was going to deliver the merit list? Three, why did Bliss C. Prasad even have a conversation with this person? Four, what did this person tell Bliss C. Prasad that could make her make such a unilateral, dangerous, and really possibly criminal decision to not fulfill her duty that she swore on the Bible so to do. K. Walsing continued. Bliss is ignorance or ignorance is bliss, or both. The issues raised so alarmed the chair that the list was not delivered to Her Excellency. Now, K. Walsing goes back to give you some insight in this email that the Express got their hands on. That the process of so after the 12th, they came on a process, they tried to have some meetings to discuss this situation, this information that this Bliss Cephas had heard in her ears from somebody. This is not, I'm not talking about linemen on a parlor and going fishing and who buy the rum and who buy shrimps and who get the bait, you know. And if you make cheese sandwich or if you have pylori, this is the Police Service Commission's duty, solemn duty, to present information to the President, the highest office in the land, with regards to a merit lift for the most important independent position in the country. This is not buying dynamite. And on the 26th, K. Walsing says, 26 August 2021, the commissioners present did not agree to this as there was no documentation and therefore this meeting was adjourned. So the public official on the 12th of August told Bliss Cephas had had no documentation, nothing. She did not deliver the merit list. She called a meeting of the Public Service Commission 2 weeks later, 14 days later, and still had no paper, no evidence, no document, no report, nothing to show or share with the Police Service Commissioners. They then said, but this is madness, and they adjourned the meeting. It continued. The commissioners by noon be sent to the public official. So on Friday 27th, the meeting was conducted via telephone. So the next day now, after they adjourned on the 26th, the documents that were seen did not advance to a decision to appoint an investigator or launch an investigation. It was then agreed that the writer would draft a letter to be approved by the commissioners by noon to be sent to the public official. So now there is continued interference and interaction by this same public official that the Police Service Commissioners are now indulging in information gathering and asking for written correspondence with a public political position, a person in politics. Who is that person? Is it a member of the cabinet? Is it a member of the National Security Council? Does he have a small pin? Or is it a Pomsite Rasta? Who knows? We need to find out who was the Public Police Service Commission communicating with, and does that fall within their remit of being an independent service commission? It continued. As previously indicated, I would like to place on record my disagreement to the entire process of the appointment of an investigator and the terms of reference. So that is Mr. Roger K. Walsing saying, I just want to make sure it's clear that when all you're getting investigated and all you're going down and there could be criminal charges of misbehavior in public office, that I putting it on the record that I don't agree with what's going on here. It is nonsense, says Roger K. Walsing. Very intelligent fella. It continued. Having considered the process, it is my view, says K. Walsing, that there was no agreement at any of the meetings to engage the services of Mr. Justice Stanley John. So let me read that again for you. It is of my view that there was no agreement at any of our meetings to engage the services of Mr. Justice Stanley John. The Police Service Commission, Roger K. Walsing member, is saying they never discussed, never agreed to hire Justice Stanley John. So who hired the Honorable Justice? Who? Why? Where? When? On what grounds? On what terms of reference? And he went on to say, indeed, the cost and the payment of same, because remember I was making the point when Rowley and Telbert said that some fella did an investigation, a brief for the National Security Council as normal part of the course kind of thing, and he did it for free. I said that does not make it better. That makes it worse, because payment, salary, services provided, payment means independence, professionalism. Anytime you're doing free thing is a shimmy dimmy. It have questions to answer. Roger K. Walsing agreed. He continued, why wasn't the merit list which was prepared and should have been submitted to Her Excellency the President on August 12th was not submitted? Roger K. Walsing, a police service commissioner, a member, is asking why was the list that we all agreed on here and said to deliver to the president, why did the chair, Bliss Sipasad of Bishop's Anstey, not give it to the president? He then said, it seems to me when that question is asked, there can only be one correct answer. That answer is that upon visiting Her Excellency, there was an occurrence and information obtained which excited the suspicion of the chair and caused her such discomfort that it was not possible to deliver the list. As I have said, says K. Walsing, before, this meeting has compromised both the office of the person who shared the information and that of the chair. I repeat, Roger K. Walsing, attorney at law. I have said before, this meeting has compromised both the office of the person who shared the information. So we want to know who is that public officer, who is that public official, what public office does that person hold who went to meet the chair on August 12th and told her something, some fantastic story, and she airs that made her not do her duty. I say this because the complaints issue ought to have been properly made in writing. Based on the nature of the information, from whom and how the information came, there will be a perception of interference. So Roger K. Walsing knows who the public official is, and in his esteemed, intelligent, experienced mind, that is interference. What sort of interference, Roger K. Walsing? Political interference? Was pressure brought to bear? Was there interference? And is that legal? On 27th August, to send a letter to the informant seeking a written complaint, no letter was sent. So K. Walsing and the other commissioner said, listen, all this talk you come in to tell us about who tell you what in your ears. Tell that person, put it in writing, put the information, put the evidence, put the points to the police service commission so we could read it, take it seriously, analyze it, and make a decision. The public official, the politician, the political interferer did not put it in writing. When someone does not want to put something in writing, what can you assume from that? Continuing. Who is paying for this investigation? The Police Service Commission was set up to be an independent body under the Constitution so that it can be free of any influence by the executive. It is improper to seek payment from the executive, especially based on what we know precipitated this investigation. This investigation must either be paid by the PSC, who has no money, or by the Service Commission Department. To have the executive, meaning the cabinet, meaning the politicians, meaning the PNM, pay for it will also, in my view, says K. Walsing, be constitutionally wrong and create the perception of interference. So in summing up, Ms. Bliss Sipasad, former PNM chairman of the CDA, and chairperson of the Independent Police Service Commission. You, my lady, you went to deliver a serious document, a very critical document to Her Excellency the President, Who the hell could stop you? Who could talk to you and shoo in your ears and stop you from doing your duty that you swore on the Bible to do? Please, please tell the Douglas, because I am confused. This is not a carnival van going down Peter Avenue the wrong way, trying to take a shortcut to the Savannah stage. That was K. Singh, yes? Bliss is ignorance, and ignorance is bliss. Who was that public official, ma'am? Was it a minister of government? What portfolio did that minister of government hold? How did that minister of government know that you were going to deliver such a secret list to the president? What caused you to have a conversation at president's house with this public official? And why did you take the word of that person? How is that person so credible to you? And do you believe that this form, your actions fall under the responsibilities of your office? An independent body, what does this mean? And let's say you are an independent woman. You make your own money, because I want you all to understand what independence is. And what we see in here with this Bishop's Tea Party and political interference and people doing this, and you taking instruction from the PNM and the EBC taking that, and Revenue Authority coming and PNM go control, there seems to be no independence. If you are an independent woman and you make your own money, you pay your own bills, your car, you have your own house, you pay your mortgage, you rocking, you doing your own thing, and you go and pick up a boyfriend, and he decide to tell you what to wear, where you could go, who you could line with, what you could do, and how to spend your money. How much cost you go pelt on he? Wouldn't you hit him some cost and show he the door? Tell him to get his fast and outer place self out of here, because you're independent. But anytime you have this kind of affinity to him and you start to listen, and you do what he say and so on, are you still independent? The Express says, go now, commissioners, but not so fast, Express. Because Kamala Prasad Bisesa said, go to the commissioners, yes. And now she says, go to the political influencers and interferers, go to whoever interfered, go to the National Security Council headed by Keith Rowley, must resign, and to the entire cabinet must go, because it was political interference from the highest. So don't just say, go to the commissioners. If you say, go to the commissioners were influenced by the executive. The executive is Rowley and the head of the National Security Council and the cabinet. And the minister who went to interfere and talk to Bliss Sipasa, the chairperson of the commission, all must go, Express. Not just the commissioners, all. In the words of Winfred Espiner, as the PNM fired 11,369 workers from Petrotrin. All. And don't call me later to tell me. A deepening quagmire, says the Express. Smoke and mirrors, says Daily. Heinz Bulgari is now a civilian and holds no power. Well, Heinz, boy, me I know you get a Kobo sweat. We now know why you get the Kobo sweat. But Heinz, before you make this stupid statement, what you really do? You was in the same state? Archie, show me Heinz now. High on life.
Summon the necessary strength to ask the police commissioner and his senior divisional commanders to gather with me.
Open your eye now, Heinz, what happened to you? You suffering from narcolepsy? Heinz? What grade you pass in school? High grade? Heinz? Rowley in isolation after contact with COVID case. Well, Rowley, you jackass in the scene right through. You must get COVID 5 times. Your thing you need only go to it 20 doses because you flop. You better go on the brew with JW and get some Cialis, yes? The CR not expiring, all the other vaccine expiring. 3 new Delta cases detected. D.L. Singh, TNT not ready for Delta, expressing concern that the country is not in a very good position to combat the Delta variant. Health Minister Terence D.L. Singh said, Another 50,000 Pfizer will be utilized. Yeah. Now you're getting Pfizer. You flop on every aspect of the COVID-19 pandemic. From lack of debate when UNC wanted to debate it, from calling it, saying it is not a matter of national importance for debate in the parliament, for UPNM stating COVID will never come here. Now we have nearly 1,500 citizens dead, and the Delta come in and all you're not ready, and all you say, well, one case came and we have community spread, and it was a person who traveled from Venezuela to Trinidad. On what flight? What plane? What visa? How they reach? Where they get money to buy a ticket? Or did they come on a pirogue through the porous borders? Former finance minister tells government address BIR issues. You see how the media is? Former finance minister, so you feel that is a UNC minister, you feel that Brian Quaitong, you feel that Hawaii Dukaran somebody. Franco men, let me finish off the headline properly for the Guardian. Former PNM finance minister tells government address BIR issues before bringing revenue authority. Mariano Brown. West states the state needs money, says minister, the PNM minister. As soon as she swearing, she needs to get a HDC house. But them need more money to give out more HDC house to family. But while they're doing that, Udicott and Noel Garcia, them going and fix up Galera Lighthouse. And then on the hand, Udicott, them doing a competition, enter the Arapita Avenue Arch Design Competition. So they had no money for you, for your food, for your hampers, children starving, all across the Southwest Peninsula, infrastructure crumbling, flooding, no pumps. We have Dave Tanku coming up, he go talk to we about that. But look, them going and build an arch for Arapita Avenue by the Pinks and them. But they had no money. But NGC gambled with petrochemical and lost. Companies, they lost. Dangerous NGC decisions, $700 million lost. TNT, the real loser in NGC, right? That's all. And then on top of that now, millions in damages to be paid to TNT AV Oil. They settled the arbitration dispute. Express, Anna Ramdas. Instead, it has settled the arbitration dispute with A&V. Let me sum up this thing for you. First of all, Archie, play that man how he whining there for me, please. Because he whining on all you. All your PNM people, the ones who dance for free. All my children, so rhythmic, so athletic, so brilliant, so intelligent, so well choreographed in that PNM dance. But all you dance for free. When you dance, they win. And when they win, you are no laptop, no schools, no sport, no culture, no water, no roads, no infrastructure, no online, no support, no grants, no opportunities, no NESC, no MIC, nothing. But when this man dance, he dance for a reason. Wine boy Indian.
Come up to my Bamsi boy and come up to my Bamsi boy and
Yes, that's what's going on now. He could whine, he could dance. Only I'm crying with that one. I laugh so much. Now, as we're getting ready to join Dave Tanko, let me ask you some issues with this AV Oil arbitration matter, Heritage Petroleum, with Rowley's personal attorney, A.A. Kwamina, as the chairman. So exactly who was protecting the taxpayer and the citizens' interest in this matter? Because Keith Rowley is the prime minister. He's supposed to protect you, the citizens, your assets, and so on. He's duly elected, swear on the Bible, so to do. But this fella is a good friend, anybody, and this one here is Rowley's personal attorney. So Rowley's personal attorney is supposed to protect you above Rowley's personal friend and financier. Which one you think they prefer? Leave it right there. I like that picture. Would a lawyer protect his client's interests, reputation, and freedom over the general public's interests? Asking you all this question, ask yourself, because especially those who vote for this kind of stupidity, madness, and corruption. Which vow of integrity is more foreboding, stronger, and holds more weight? The attorney-client relationship, privilege and duty, or the fiduciary duty of a chairman of a board? So which one is stronger? Which one is closer, tighter? Attorney-client, personal attorney-client privilege, or, well, I'm the chairman of the board, let me do my work. Which one you think will take precedence? And since the suspension of activities by AV Oil, when Petrotrin suspended them to do the audit, the PNM suspended the PNM financier of the Prime Minister's PNM friend, that company. When they suspended them at Catskill Fields, why has productivity declined so immediately and dramatically? Why? If they was always producing, what happened? The pump can't pump. The pump need honey goat weed. What? Why it dropped so? Why it flopped so? AA Kwamina, this is to you. Did you recuse yourself from all the discussions, deliberations, and decisions around this matter involving your client's personal friend? Kwamina, you feel we in a banana republic? Let me ask you again. You feel because you tie up your belly, you feel you get sexy? Let me ask you this, Mr. Tie Belly. Listen to me very carefully. Did you recuse yourself from all deliberations, interactions, and decisions involving your client's personal friend's company? Did you recuse yourself? Do you not see the conflict of interest that you should have recused yourself totally from that matter, being the personal attorney of Prime Minister Keith Christopher Rowley, defending him in this press conference with matters surrounding the very issue that was of arbitration brought to the Parliament of Trinidad and Tobago by UNC opposition member Rudal Munilal? PNM can do what they want, not so, people. Well, they want the Douglas say. The matter involved players in the fake oil matter. Are you conflicted, AA? What is a conflict of interest? A conflict of interest is a situation in which the concerns or aims of two different parties are incompatible. AA Kwamina and Rowley friend versus the concerns of the people of Trinidad and Tobago, those are incompatible. AA Kwamina, who is Rowley's lawyer and Rowley's best friend, is the opponent in the matter. So AA Kwamina cannot sit and decide in the chair of a matter in which he is conflicted, because he is supposed to protect us, you, the people and the assets, but he is close to this bald-head, double-stuffed, nasty Oreo. And this nasty, double-stuffed, disgusting human being of an Oreo who spread COVID all over Tobago and mash up Trinidad and Tobago is closely related to the dancer man, the whiner man, the epithets man. Secondly, a situation in which a person is in a position to derive personal benefit from actions or decisions made in their official capacity. So, AA Kwamina, if you did not recuse yourself, isn't it possible that you could derive personal benefit from the decision of settling this matter? Let's see. AA Kwamina, the best defense of your client is to keep, if you keep and you settle that matter, it's the best interest of you and your client to keep your client and this man and settle this matter and get rid of it so your client could remain Prime Minister. And if your client remains Prime Minister, then you remain chairman of that board. And you have perks, you have salary, you have stipend, so you can derive some benefit from the matter. Therefore, you are conflicted, AA Kwamina. The PM's friend receives a large sum of money. He is a financier of the PNM. Therefore, if he has more money available to him, it is more likely that he will invest more in the PNM, therefore increasing the chances of the PNM to win and you keeping your cushy chairmanship and legal briefs that you get. Kwamena, are you conflicted, sir? Rowley, are you conflicted? You bald-head, disgusting, double-stuffed Oreo teacher who had to use his power to get pum-pum since 1969. As Prime Minister and custodian and protector of the people's assets versus a friend who's alleged to have harmed the people. Now you are to protect the people, Rowley, but that is your friend. Would you protect your friend more than the people? But either way, you're conflicted, Rowley. You removed the original minister. You removed the original board. You appointed a new minister. You appointed a new board. You decided to shut down Petrotrin despite all the reports that said do not shut it down. All the advice. The board said do not shut it down. They went under oath and said do not shut it down. You shut it down, which made evidence gathering near impossible. You see, people, the police have to do investigation and the arbitrators have to get investigation, and people who were there, if all the employees are fired, those who were there, who have information, know how it works, know the recording system, know where the diaries are, know where the maps are, know how the pump works, know how long, know who was driving what car. All of these people were gone. How are you going to get information and evidence to put before an arbitration committee? But Rowley, you ensured by your decisions that this would happen. Is that a conflict? You place your personal attorney without any oil or energy qualification whatsoever to oversee the entire process. The arbitration was lost due to lack of evidence. The Prime Minister has general direction for all state boards. Publicly washes his hands. You wash your hands of the matter, which is ludicrous. You cannot wash your hands of the matter. You are in charge of the people's asset. You are the last big man standing. You do not summon the board. You as Prime Minister, after this arbitration, did you summon the board? Did you receive a report? Were you perturbed and angry at how they could just pay out this in this guava season where you come in to give people property tax and create revenue authority to dig in people's pocket and they have no money? Did you call them in and say, what nonsense is this? No, you didn't. Did you call them and say, oh God, I come in, all you can whine on my bumsy? You might have said that. What about Dioki Singh? Huh? The PNM candidate for Separia who get blown out by Kamala Prasad Bisesa and was selected by Rowley. Was he fired? Why? Why was he fired? Where is he now? And then based on this decision, he could come back and sue too and get a kakada? Great is the PNM. I want to ask now, based on all this information and all you've heard here on Douglas Politics, Police Service Commission, Blissy Prasad, Bishop's Tea Party, public servant, public official, minister, talking to Blissy Prasad, pulling back a report, coming, talking, asking for it in paper, no evidence, and decisions. One man resigned, 2 more to go. I ask the Law Association, what say you on this constitutional crisis? Retired judges, lawyers, Transparency International, what say you on all these matters? And we're going to talk NGC property tax just now with Dave Tanku. Derek Murray, where you? Transparency, oh, you take a PNM cushy job in Jamaica. Oh, sorry. Transparency, PNM International. Political analyst, Winford James, Ramsamut. Oh, Ramsamut, you have a problem in Ghana. They let you out yet? You're so like the bad talk UNC. Professors of political science, CEOs of corporations, bank, financial institutions, law professors, what say you on this political constitutional crisis? Interference seems clear. Misbehavior in public office seems clear. Can this government survive, or must it be collapsed? Must they resign? It's not only the Police Service Commission. It's who interfered, the National Security Council, the cabinet, the minister. Everybody has to go. Law professors, teachers of political science, accounting firms, former integrity commissioners, former independent senators, former permanent secretaries. What say you? Anyone? Please help me. I need to hear from you. Cat got your tongue? Or you all afraid, Rowley, so you all got pipped? You all afraid a disgusting, lowly scumbucket of a man? A useless piece of trash who could just shout and buff other human beings? All you afraid that? Look. All you must be mad afraid that. All you afraid that? Look what you get. Look what you get. All of that, yeah. Yes, and you don't like Indian? Oh God, take the Indian. Oh Lord, yes. All you make Douglas. Make Douglas. You're too proud of clown.
Come up to my Bamsi boy and
I will continue at another date because I've run out of time and I'm preparing to bring on the Member of Parliament for Orapuch West, a man who came from humble beginnings and raised himself up, brought himself up, educated himself, a man of class, a man who on the ground with the people. And when you all say UNC and PNM is the same, take a look one-on-one. The UNC loves people, care for people. I'm bringing on to talk some serious issues. The member for Orapuch West, the Honorable Dave Tanku. We coming back. Welcome back to Douglas Politics. Share the live. We are Member of Parliament for Orapuch West, Dave Tanku, man who's busy not only hitting Colm Imbert, PNM, Rowley, across the board on financial matters, Nikwan, Petrotrin, and NGC, a man who's in his constituency every day fighting for people, fighting for farmers, trying to get pumps, eliminating flooding, and just, it's all sad down there with the infrastructure devastation. But most importantly now, the government has wasted money and they're coming to hit you with property tax. Dave Tanku, tell me, talk to the people about this property tax.
Arnold, thank you very much for the opportunity to be here today to share a little bit of insight on this bacchanal here that we have with property tax. You know, it's ironic that every single time this government wakes up in the morning, is one bacchanal after the next bacchanal after the next bacchanal. And on every occasion, it's tax-paying citizens that have to fund them and the bacchanal and the corruption. This property tax that they're bringing here now is a next example of that. That's another example of the bacchanal that they've brought to put on the taxpayers' backs. Recently, the Minister of Finance had published in the newspaper this advertisement in which they advised the population that if you have agricultural land, commercial land, or residential land, get ready, property tax is coming. You are now supposed to fill out a valuation form, get a set of documentation, fill out this questionnaire here, fill out this questionnaire, get a set of documentation and send it back to the valuation department, the valuation division of the Ministry of Finance. And according to the advertisement, if you do not do that, the Minister of Finance is going to come after you. What the Minister of Finance is going to do is file a criminal charge against citizens who do not fill out this valuation form on time. He's going to file a criminal charge on citizens and charge you $5,000. And that's not all. Because if you pay that tax, but if you pay that fine and you still do not fill out their form, they could come after you and seize your assets. And if you fill out the form and you make one or two errors, the very same minister could still come back and charge you $5,000. Just like that, the Minister of Finance is seeking to make criminals out of innocent, hard-working population of Trinidad and Tobago, while at the same time he closes his eyes to open corruption, thieving, bacchanal, open sabotage of the treasury of Trinidad and Tobago. I looked at the valuation division's website because I was trying to get some information. I want to put together a video to help people understand what this property tax is, because the government has no such inclination to do it. And on that, there's what is called a frequently asked questions and answers. And in those frequently asked questions and answers, the Minister of Finance has approved this question: is this valuation form the property tax? And the answer is, according to the minister, this is the valuation form, it is not the property tax. That's the first problem, because they lie. You see, this valuation form, this is what is needed to charge you property tax. Why else you think they're doing this? Because they like you? They want to populate what is called the valuation rule. And once they get 50% and above of that rule populated, once they have the information for 50% of that rule, for 50% of the properties of Trinidad and Tobago on that valuation rule, property tax. Property tax. So they're trying to create the perception that this valuation issue is not about property tax, but it is. This is the first stage, and once you do it, property tax is going to come. If you are offended by the tax that they charge you, if you are offended by this valuation, if you are offended by the need to pursue this, the legislation which set up this valuation rule and this set up this property tax, this legislation created by Section 15 something called the Valuations Tribunal. So if you find that they value your property too highly, you could go to this Valuations Tribunal and raise a query. Well, I checked. I searched. I went online, I went offline, I went to Valuations Department. I'm still searching. I want to know if the Minister of Finance, the Honorable Colm Imbert, that's really hard to say, the Honorable Colm Imbert, I want to know if he could tell us today who are the members of that valuation tribunal. Or is that a secret too? Because I have not seen any valuation tribunal. So they come like a thief in the night to charge you property tax. They come like a thief in the night to force you to create documentation and provide your business to them. To random people, they come like a thief in the night. This is after they boasted, the same Colm Imbert boasted last year, I believe, or the year before, that he had hired an army of persons to come and collect data and information. So what happened to that army of people? You pay them because taxpayers funded that. But you see, that was just before a general election. Pay attention, folks. That was just before a general election. That was just before a local government election. And what the Minister of Finance wanted to do is support his party using the government funds to hire people.
But let me interrupt you there, because you said something. So if you fill out our form, and under this country we could see where they have one rule for PNM and one rule for everybody else. So if they come in your house and they see Anel, they see Big Mount Douglas thing, and they jack up my valuation, and I come and I argue and I say, but look, I want to go to debate this, I want to query this. You are saying there is no valuation tribunal set up for the citizens to query any evaluation that the Ministry of Finance comes and puts on their land and their property to tell them what they have to pay?
Anel, what I'm telling you is I search high and low, and sometimes I find some interesting things at the low, and I have not been able to find out, even from personnel at the Valuations Department, who consists of that tribunal, who is the chairman of the tribunal, and who the members are. It appears that there is no such thing. So they're passing legislation. They want to ram it down our throats, and the recourse that people have does not appear to exist.
But they want to ram it down our throats. You are a member of parliament, and you are not like a PNM member where they say, pull a number and you go see 25 people. I know you see about 200, 250 people, even in opposition now, at your office on different office days to see people, plus you're always down there inside with the people. Please explain to me, because I still cannot understand. I mean, I deal with them daily, and the heartlessness and the wickedness of Rowley and Imbert and his PNM, it knows no bounds. Please tell me the feeling as an MP that you see. Can people pay this property tax? Why are they going to pay it? How are they going to pay it? And what sort of service have they been getting from this government for their previous taxation dollars?
Valid question, Anel. The thing is that I see people regularly in my constituency, and I'm sure that this exists throughout the country. Throughout, even in PNM areas, it's just that the PNM members of parliament don't care about people in their constituencies. Every single property owner that I have spoken to, and I have spoken to thousands in the constituency of Oropouche West, every single property owner has expressed grave concerns about this property tax, because even the minister who tweets, every 2 seconds this minister will send out a tweet. It's a Twitter. Tweet and Twitter and tweet. Every 2 seconds this minister will send out a tweet about something or the other, but not about property tax. Ask yourself why. Why is this thing such a secret? But you know what the biggest concern that people have? It is what they are going to charge this property tax on. They have come up with something called an annual rental value. So they ask you to fill out this form and they will determine what the annual rental value is of your property. You see, this minister of finance, he's like a money Satan. He taxing everything. He wants something from everything. So he reached the stage now where he's taxing imaginary rental properties. He's taxing you for things you are not getting. He's taxing you for revenue you are not earning. If that is not immoral, it must be illegal.
They've explained that because you see, you now explain that now. I've heard it before in different ways. But when you explain it there, it now hit me that way I'm not you don't normally pay a tax. You earn some money, PAYE, you pay. You go, you buy some bread, you pay. Unless Kabla is prime minister, then you don't pay VAT on food and things like that. But under this government, you pay, you earn, you pay. Now, you're not going to rent your property. You have a piece of land, you're not planning to rent it. In some places, I heard in the West Day, in Diego Martin, they cannot rent their properties because of some codicil agreement on when the land was, when the developments were built up. You are saying, and I now understand it clearly, that you are not ever getting this rental value. You don't want it, you're not getting it, you're not renting it, but come taxing it as if you're making money.
Anil, think about this. You sacrifice all your years of your life. You scrape up, and over a period of time you build your property. You living in that house. That house is not generating revenue for you. It's not generating any sort of income. As a matter of fact, to maintain it, you have to spend money every month and every year to paint and clean and you know, to refurbish in every form and fashion. That house is not earning you $1. My mother's house in Faisabad, built over 16 years. Nobody is renting there. My mother is living there. Now she's being told that she has to pay an annual rental value for that. She's not earning an income. She's a pensioner. So the Minister of Finance is giving her a pension and he's trying to take that pension back from her. How is that right? And worse than that, you know, this is like if you have, it's like if you have in your house a bottle of coffee and a cup of hot water. You know, this minister could come and say, because you have the coffee and because you have the water, you operate in a cafe. If you have a pound of chana, a little bit of a nip of flour, a little bit of baking powder and some oil, you know, he could come and say, he's a doubles man. Because once you have the asset, it does not mean that you are generating a revenue from it. He believes that because he has properties that he is earning a revenue from, that everybody else is like that. And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, Anil, that this is the same man who came to Parliament. You will remember, came to Parliament and changed the law so that he could benefit. Remember this boat tax? And remember this property tax that he paid, for new properties, etc., etc. He changed the law so that he could benefit, and he declared his interest, and he thought that was good enough. Well, citizens of Trinidad and Tobago who are not generating a revenue from their businesses, from their homes, citizens of Trinidad and Tobago who are not generating any money from their homes should not have to pay anything based on an annual rental value, because there is no rent to be earned.
Well, let me ask you this way, because I know from some studies way back that there's something, a principle or philosophy against double taxation. So if someone like your mother paid her stamp duty and her tax on all her taxes on her house, her land, and as she constructed her house and so on, and she's not ever intended, has not rented out and does not intend to rent out, then she's being double taxed on that same asset, on that same property.
And you are absolutely right. It is multiple levels of taxation. But I want to go one bit more. In Suchet Trace, in Tulsa Trace, in Plock Road, in several areas of my constituency, and I'm sure it happens elsewhere, but I want to speak specifically to my constituency. We have flooding every time rain falls. Every time. The annual rental value of properties in those areas should be 0 or minus. Because who in their right mind coming to rent in an area where in the morning you get up and you know you're going to get flood for days once the rain set up, because the Ministry of Works and Transport is not treating with that. The annual rental value in those areas should be 0 or minus. I want to know if the Minister of Finance is going to give those people there a rebate in the same way he's anxious to tax elsewhere. Are you going to give a rebate for persons who have 0 rental value? Because a lot of that exists in Oropouche West.
Now let me also, as we go on to the NGC issue, because even if they implement this property tax at its most vile level, you're talking about $600 to $900 million annually, but the PNM just threw down the toilet and flushed $700 million down with NGC alone. But let me also say to the people out there, because Dave Tanku is not a Douglas, and the beauty of being a Douglas is I could say what I go in and say now. Under the PNM and the racist PNM, the program put by Keith Christopher Rowley and the division, not only through resources and separation by the EBC and throughout constituencies, where constituencies that are yellow have been shortchanged and not given resources. Will this sort of persecution continue under the property tax? Who is hiring those to evaluate your property? Are they PNM people from PNM party groups? Do you have to call Jelani? Will UNC people or Indian people receive higher levels of rental value on the initial estimate bigger than PNM people? You see, this is not funny. This country is divided, and when you have a police service commission that is interfered with, an EBC that is interfered with, independent senators who talk more PNM than anything else, and not an independent institution, you must worry about these things. Because if the PNM is in control, I can tell you that Indian and UNC people, perceived opposition, will be persecuted. Now, Dave Tanku, this NGC thing, they spend out, waste out, throw away money, but come in to take money from poor people across this country in a pandemic. Talk to me.
And that is the worst part about this, Anil. That is the worst part about this. You come to tell these people, the poor people of this country, that we want to pick your pocket. People suffering through pandemic. 400,000 persons plus desperately in need. You come to tell them that while you can't buy food, you have to come and pay this tax or else. And while you're doing that to poor people, poor law-abiding people, you turn your face, you turn your eyes, you close your eyes to absolute corruption, to a situation where in NGC, the National Gas Company of Trinidad and Tobago, one group of persons presided over the expenditure of over $640 million wasted. Nobody is to be held accountable. That cannot be right, because we are now feeling that this property tax is being rushed through, ramming down people's throat to compensate for the loss that they made using the NGC money. That is taxpayers' money, you know. When they lose it here, they want to take it from our pockets, from taxpaying citizens' pocket. But they will not hold Mr. Mark Loquan and the board of NGC. They will not hold them liable. Perhaps the worst part about that is that these are the very same people who you pay as taxpayers. You pay them a stipend to operate that business. And by law, they have what we understand to be a fiduciary duty to do the right thing. There's nothing right that has happened as far as we can see with regards to this train one and with regards to this condensation racket that has gone on. And that is only two that have come forward from NGC. I am advised that there is much, much more. presided over by Mark Lockham and this board of the NGC. The worst part about that is right after they mess up this thing, you know, they came, Anil, and took out full-page color advertisements in the newspapers, patting themselves on the back, saying, "Job well done, we are seeking your interest." $600+ million, Anil. Think about how much school children could have gotten lapped. Every single child of school age in this country could have gotten a laptop. Every single road and drain in Orpuch West could have been cleaned so that we would not have had the kind of flooding and damage we have here today. But you have Mark Lockham and the NGC board patting themselves, paying taxpayers money to pat themselves on the job for a job well done. And you know what makes that even worse than that? You have a prime minister and a minister of national security saying that a group of people who cost these taxpayers, who cost you over $600 million in wastage and what could only be corruption. This prime minister and this minister of national security has the fullest of confidence in them.
Well,
don't you see that that's why we're in trouble? That's the kind of people we have confidence in?
I'm in trouble because but I'm telling you, but you, I don't want to preempt your budget debate and so on because you are man studying all, but explain it and break it down in Douglas politics for my people to understand. Because Colmember seems to feel, while we feel the pain from women, children, differently able, elderly, sick, those who work, those who don't work, those sportsmen, culture, everybody feeling pain in this country. Colmember tweets, yes man, sunshine, like you want to read the Sunshine newspaper, sunshine in, things are bright, HSF, all explain to me, sum up to the people, this devastating situation of the economy now, and the nonsense that we're going to hear on October 4th when they also open back schools. Why? So that you all will not pay attention to the budget. I am here to tell you, to beseech you, to listen to the UNC, listen to Kamala Prasad, listen to Dave Tanku and all the members of Parliament downstairs as they debate the budget. That is for your information. They're trying to distract. Dave, talk to the people, they really hurt it.
Well, I'm glad you asked about the HSF. Because recently, I think it was a couple of days ago, the Minister of Finance, as is usual, tweeting, the Minister of Finance tweeted that the country was doing very, very well. According to him, suddenly the HSF had $5.6 billion. Wonderful. Under his watch, the HSF had $5.6 billion. He's doing exceptionally well, great performance. You know how much money the HSF had when he came into office? $5.7 billion US dollars. It has $5.6 billion US dollars today. It had $5.7 billion US dollars when he came into office. But that's not the bad part. You know what is the bad part? This man has withdrawn $2.4 billion. So when he came in, he found 5.7. He withdrew $2.4 billion from that HSF. Dump it into the consolidated fund to pay recurrent expenditure. What that means is that that money is not being used to create any new stream of wealth. He's also borrowing money. We are in the worst debt situation that we are in ever. The worst debt situation that we have ever been in, with no attempt being made to take us out of it because they are not creating investment. We have the worst crisis of confidence ever. We have liquidity, which is astronomical, and we have a situation where people begging for business. What that means is that there's no confidence in any businessman's mind and in their brain to invest in Trinidad and Tobago because they do not have the confidence that the government will continue to create any kind of environment. They don't believe that the government will create the environment to generate business here. That is why we have foreign direct investment leaving. But let me go back to the HSF. The Minister of Finance, by his own admission, has withdrawn a set of money. I was looking for the paper here just now. Let me tell you what he has done. I said $2.4 billion US dollars. That is 17 billion TT dollars.
Billion.
Billion dollars.
People will say these numbers.
Billion dollars.
1,000 billion.
Yep.
That if you win the multiply to 1,000 times. He take out that 17,000 times. That's what Coleman take out of your money.
In 6 years. That is what he took out in 6 years. What it took from 2000, and I want to repeat that, by the way. I want to repeat something I think somebody has mentioned before. This is not, Imbert didn't create this fund. Enel didn't create this fund. This is a UNC creation. It was created by the UNC, and what the PNM did in 2006, 6 years after they came in and already had money in it, PNM came in and changed the name. Now, if Imbert changes his name to something else, if he calls himself Mary, that does not make him a woman, and that does not make him anything else except Imbert. Changing your name does not change it.
I'm going to deal with that at a different time, but yes, but that is the point. It's a UNC, Bastille Pandey. It's a quantum initiative of the United National Congress to save money for future generations.
Correct.
The PNM roundly stated, I wish we had saved more as a country, and he, as Prime Minister with this Imbert Dwayne, has sucked out and vacuumed out the treasury and the savings of the people like no one ever in the history of this country.
Absolutely true. And they want you to believe that the reason they're going to the HSF is because of COVID. Well, 2015, Minister came in, it had no COVID in 2015, it had no COVID in 2016, it had no COVID in 2017, none in 2018, none in 2019.
And they took out from the HSF.
Yes, every year so far, this man has been taken out.
Everything
None.
COVID.
Correct. So they keep borrowing on the base, they keep taken out from the Heritage and Stabilization Fund, using all kinds of excuses. What we know, and at the last sitting of Parliament, the Minister laid his last withdrawal. And what it showed us, I want to share that with you. Minister comes to Parliament, he makes a budget, estimated revenue, estimated expenditure. He said it was $8 billion expected deficit. Now we're hearing this is now going to be 16 plus billion. It was supposed to be $8 billion. It's going to be $16.7 billion in deficit if things continue the way they're going. The minister borrowed. In November, he borrowed $200 million US dollars. In January, he borrowed $94 million US dollars. In February, he borrowed $100 million. In March, he borrowed. In April, he borrowed. In May, he borrowed. In June, he borrowed. We ain't about July, August, and September yet.
Pause. And with all that borrowing, there is still, from their expenditure, a $16 billion deficit to be funded by the taxpayers still, and yet nothing works in this country. Dave Tanku, is that what you're telling me on this Douglas politics?
What I am telling you is no matter how much money you give this man, he's like a pipe on steroids. He will use it up and use it up and use it up and use it up and achieve nothing. They have spent over $300 billion, an average of $137 million a day. They have spent every single day. Calm Imbert has spent an average of $137 million
per day.
And we have the worst roads in this country. We have the worst everything.
Bridges collapsing.
Hospitals have no medication. Absolutely.
No culture, no investment,
no jobs.
No jobs, no creativity.
Imagine this.
No gate, no NESC, no MIC, but 300, how much? $139 million a day?
$1 million per day.
Well, you keep voting doing. Go ahead.
That's a significant sum, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know how many of us understand that.
Because I saw a statistic recently, and our statistics are not really up to date. So when I get them, I kind of multiply by 3. They say that 5,700 students or graduates with undergraduate degrees are now unemployed in Trinidad and Tobago. Now I would say that is probably about 20,000 children, young adults with degrees who are unemployed. Yet Coleman keeps borrowing. At what interest rates we don't know, because when small little companies can win so-called tenders, the interest rate cannot be low because they don't have the asset base and the economies of scale to provide financing cheaply. Who has to pay this off, and for how long, for generations to come? Explain to young people, because they feel election is like a football game, yellow versus red. They don't understand elections have consequences.
We are in a situation where we are drawing down on our savings, and it's not just the interest. He's used up the interest and he's now borrowing into the capital, which means that it's not going to be able to continue to sustain itself. And the minister wants us to believe that, yes, the Heritage and Stabilization Fund is doing well. That has nothing to do with him. We are in a crisis now because the minister has used up whatever revenue streams he could have get, and is now going into your savings, and he's taking out the interest, and he's now going into your capital. And what that means is that you are not going to be able to see that Heritage and Stabilization Fund regenerate. You're not going to see that. We also know that because the economy has collapsed under Colm Imbert, businesses have shut down across the board, 6,000 small and medium-sized businesses. Thousands of micro businesses closed down forever and ever, amen. Jobs have become difficult to get. Where is the government going to get money to run this country? The only thing, and I warned you all about this before, we here warned you all, government will continue to borrow until they cannot, and then they're going to have a fire sale of assets. Prepare for it. We already know they're coming after Wassa. We know they're coming after the port. We know they're coming after other things, and a lot of that has to do with the incompetence, bad mind, and corruption of persons involved in this government.
In the final minute, Dave Tanku, Kamala Prasad says, put forward different revenue streams. Talk to them, because Colm Imbert is tax, borrow, spend, you suffer, them party, and wine and a bumsy. Talk to us about Kamala Prasad Bissessa's plan that was different to create jobs and revenue.
I am so glad you asked that. I almost predicted it, ladies and gentlemen. I almost predicted it. When we came to the population, we gave you a plan. Not like the roadmap for recovery, which seems to have disappeared or crashed. We gave you a plan. We didn't hold it back and hide it, you know. We gave you a plan to create 50,000 new jobs and 12 new prosperity engines. This is it here. It's on the UNC's website. Go in and see it. We had a plan then, we have a plan now. We gave it to the government. The government has this. They have this exact thing, and if they don't, I'm willing to give it to the minister. He can simply go on the website and pick it up. But you see, they lack the vision. Not only do they lack the vision of carrying a country forward, this is not going to be workable with corruption, and they can't do anything unless there's corruption involved, specific individuals. This is to go across Trinidad and Tobago, in every section, in every community, in every part of Trinidad and Tobago. This is not geographic discrimination like the PNM likes to practice. This is throughout Trinidad and Tobago, as the leader of the opposition did when she was Prime Minister, 2010 to 2015. This is a plan to create wealth, to develop Trinidad and Tobago in every part of the country. This plan exists. I urge citizens, go back and check it. Compare that with what you have under the PNM, which is zero. And they simply still will not take it because they lack the vision, they lack the thought, they lack the mindset. So for Colm Imbert, it's just a borrow, tax, and sell. There's no attempt to create confidence in the economy because they simply are not inclined. They leave that to the next generation, that generation that they are indebting up to your necks.
That is the point. All you. When Colm gone, when the Dwayne fly away, when Rowley playing golf outside, when Small Pin look at the clang in Small Pin out there, you have to pay back for their stupidity. Yes. Elections have consequences. There was a plan. Kamala, go and check it on the website. She's been talking about it, creating jobs, digital education, moving forward, planning, opportunities, sport tourism, agro-processing, agriculture, downstream, NDT, financial, tourism, Tobago, across the board. All around here, them come and says, listen to me, hush your mouth and don't jackass the seat. Well, all you, time to vote, time will come and you must vote because it's you, the young people, who have to pay back for all Colm and them stupidness. To the Member of Parliament for Oropouche West, thank you very much. Good night.
Good night.
Come up to my Bamsi boy and ay ay ay. Come up to my Bamsi boy and ay ay ay. Come up to my Bamsi boy.
independent? What independent? Who independent? Why independent? The time has come that we do, we die, or we run away. Your choice. I'm out.